hello, 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 hello. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you, wherever you are, whatever time it is when you listen to this. Welcome to my channel. Okay, all right, quick story time. While I was moving things around, right, shifting and transitioning from one space to another, it was three cards. Knew I had packed this particular deck, right, and these particular three cards have been just sitting around, right, waiting for me to read them. Now, within them, coming from the whole storage aspect or storage love, it'll be applied to family. What constitutes as family? What constitutes as friends? What constitutes as co-workers? It's going to be an in-depth aspect for that. Now, it's going to be more than likely a few different readings that's going to come out in this particular one because of the decks it is that we're kind of coming out in addition to it. All right. So I'll read these first three cards and then we'll kind of kick into it and see exactly what we got going on. All right. All right, surrender. At times, we must surrender the old before something new can enter our lives. Let go, and all will work out. Then there's sacred union. Honor and treasure your relationship, for it is truly sacred. And then, last but not least, emotions are a natural and necessary part of life, but they can also distort your perception and cloud your vision. In order to see things clearly, you must let go of resentment. So ultimately, it's going to be about in the hidden hurts, right? The hidden hurts, the more deep rooted ones. Cleanse and clear that out is what I'm getting from it, because when I came upon these cards, they were in the makeup. When I was going through all of my like beauty items. Beauty's only candy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Beauty's only candy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So paying attention to that, it's given that not necessarily traditional mindset, but an older mindset. That's another thing. It's given what it is that you would have to get what it is one would constitute as sacred union in a family. And then they're being asking for assistance with the knowing more that comes with asking for assistance or being left out in the cold, all being left out in the cold and not walking away. How one would have surrendered their family, let go of their family for a union. Oh no, cause what it would be given is how one would let go of their family for a union, but the union never comes into place. Yeah, cause this is about to get real good and interesting. Yeah, for some people this is gonna be about locations. Just be mindful of that. Some people this is gonna be about locations that certain things would have happened, cause it's giving rabbit hole shit. I mean stuff. It's giving rabbit hole stuff. But over the course of 5 years, one not walking away and there not being disappointment within embarking on this journey, and within one's foolishness or foolish behavior. One of the because it's about that whole emotions aspect. It's just emotions taking me over, caught up inside, all lost in a song. But if you don't come back, come on to me, darling. Don't you know there's no okay? But yeah, I really like that song. Uh, but ultimately within it, yeah, emotions are necessary to help you process because it lets you know exactly what actually is beneficial to and for you as you continue to grow. You can only put this is what I'll say. In the whole knowing more aspect and the wisdom that comes from this, you can only put so much manure on a plant before it before it needs water. I guess that's the way I want to put that. Because that's one of the growing ages. Yeah, after a while, it's gonna outgrow the shit, and then you have to put water on. You gotta put, yeah, you gotta have a different type of funneling aspect. Income, yeah, in the alchemical aspect, it'll be about the incoming fortune and the walking away and the disappointment within one's incoming fortune, and then there being the Knight of Swords. Something it was that would have been talked about in regards to healing outside of the community, and then there not being an opportunity, and there being one being emotionally stable 6 years ago, and one's impulses. How one wouldn't have handled their impulses well, knowing what it is that was going on. You want to know what it is? A lot of people keep making the mistake of only associating impulse as a negative connotation. Impulse, yeah, is going to be based upon your programming, because your impulses will determine what level your instincts are at, is pretty much what that's given. Then the other portion of it, yeah, because with the whole sacred union, what is given is, in sacred unions, when you go through an ascension, that's, yeah, that's you coming together with the other person or coming closer to the other person. Yeah, you got to figure out the, I guess, according to what I was reading earlier, the easiest way to do that, right? So it's that part. The other portion of it is too, not being juggled last month. The influence of the work not being juggled last month. Yeah, how work. Nah, cause it's thinking like work. I'm thinking like work ain't like work. Like work ain't like work. It ain't like work. It is not like work. This is interesting. Now, this other portion, right, that is really coming into place with this whole sacred union aspect, pay attention to what it is that would have taken place with the Air Force. Yeah, aerospace science. Aerospace science 4 weeks ago. They wouldn't have been able to fulfill some situations. Yeah, and yeah, Veterans Affairs, yeah, probably would have been dealing in regards to Veterans Affairs. It would have been reflective of what would have taken place 6 years ago with the Veterans Affairs situation. One of the things it was that I did know and noticed that it took place. Right? Yeah, I saw. It's taking me back to. I don't know if it was actually 6 years ago, but it's taking me back to. I think it was. When there was a group setting or a group meeting. Yeah, and whatever. Not, because what it's given is, whenever you think about a person and they're intuitive, they can pretty much pick up on what you got going on all around you. Not only all around you, but how you're processing it, how it is they gonna process it, all of that type of stuff. So just being mindful of those varying aspects, and then in regards to, yeah, because that's something that not only happens with quote unquote sacred unions when you're in a romantic relationship. That's something that just happens among spirit tribe, period. Yeah, you just sync up with people like that. So there's that portion. All right. Yeah, in short, like a family tradition is given a family tradition versus a holiday. I get that's something that I think that'll be a good comparison contrast, because not everybody has the same traditions on a holiday, but everybody would have traditions. Pay attention to what's the same. Don't trip off of what's different. All right, Miss Ida, in the hoodoo aspect, 3 of Knives. One, not being heartbroken, not being emotionally intelligent. That's another one. And not having the clarity of one's heart and their mind. How a person wouldn't know how someone would feel in regards to there being movement and there being manifestation of one not being robbed. Part of it is one not being robbed. The other one is one not having a strategy. I heard go ahead say whatever you have to. One of the things that I noticed that was going on is how the thought process would be that I would be in the space that the other person, I heard that was magically meant to be. Yeah, that was magically meant to be how I would be in their space and supposed to be getting understanding that of what it was that would have happened with them. However, yeah, that mirror was broken and shattered. I would imagine it was a long damn time ago, like when I was staying where I was, because I said I wasn't gonna repeat that shit. I said it then. So yeah, how one person wants to interpret something versus what it is, how you want to see it versus what you think it is pretty much what that boils down to. And then it being this whole daughter of Niles and Messiah reverse, high priestess reverse. The divination that comes into place with revealing a priestess. That's one. The other portion of it is gonna be about, yeah, whether or not a priestess has been a priestess since childhood or been active since childhood. Yeah, an adult one versus a young one. And then in regards to it, yeah, even it'll be about the whole priestess reveal type situation. That I'm getting from it. King of Swords and the Nefertari aspect. I mean, within this Nefertari tarot, one of the things I did notice is it does connect a lot to those people who had a necklace. So in regards to what it is to be this whole King of Swords, yeah, because what it's given is upon this fool's journey for the with some of the portions that one wouldn't have been disappointed in. It would have been in learning about the aerospace science or the astrology aspect for it. And then also it'll be in regards to what it is to apply. Yeah, it is given the whole metaphysical portion. And then within knowing this, opposed to it being about the three cups all the damn time, understanding that there are different aspects to what constitutes as third party situations. Because right now, yeah, because you could have a third party, quote unquote, third party situation that'll come into place that'll be about, I don't know, pick a fucking, just pick something, okay? Yeah, it'll be about a lighter, okay? It'll be about a lighter. And within it being about a lighter, yeah, it'll come through as a lot of different aspects. Some of it'll be about inspiration. Some of it'll be about, yeah, understanding. Some of it'll be about all of that aspect. And it may manifest as a person. That's that portion. The other portion of it, yeah, it'll be in a whole magically meant to be aspect from what it is to be meticulous and plan and not have a strategy or a plan in place. Yeah, so in the Dark Night of the Soul aspects within surrender and the sacred union, when you place, it's given in a third party situation when you expect for everybody to meet that standard. Think, yeah, it's one of those I can do better, and the reality is you can only do worse. Swords. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. On the highest vibration, it's that I can do better, and then on the lowest vibration or the narcissistic aspect, it'll be, yeah, because you could do worse. So, Eight of Swords inside one's mind, being inside one's mind, the reptilian nature inside one's mind. And one being fruitful and not stopping. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of stuff that's attempting to be manifested as well. Because it's given about how far back can you go. Is that why that was going? No, because how low can you go? How low can you go? I don't know. That's one part of it. And the difference that comes into place with being an empress versus being a priestess. One of the things that kept coming up a whole lot is that whole divine feminine aspect, right? For me, the empress doesn't necessarily identify as a divine feminine. The reason why it doesn't necessarily identify as one because uh, it's representative of a planet, and you don't necessarily have to be divine in order to be an empress or to be fruitful. So it's that part. The other portion of it is a priestess. The divinity is implied right off the bat. So in any event, yeah. And short, the revealing of a divine feminine 4 days ago. The thought of one being fruitful 4 days ago, not manifesting. The fruits of one's labors is kind of what that's given. No, because one of the things that keeps happening is, yeah, one of the things that keeps happening is when a person says secure the bag, or you secured the bag, or you got this bag, you got that bag. What happens is I'll be walking in, it'll be a plastic bag. In short, it's fake shit. Yeah, that's why for me it's one of those. Yeah, nah, we finna gotta just shift some shit. All right, within the vision of, yeah, because so this would be reflective of what some of would have been saw or sought after in regards to this whole surrendering to a sacred union, and understanding and processing the emotions. One not moving fast. The vision of one not moving quickly. And short, yeah, it's one of those. I didn't move that fast. I ain't moved that fast. That's that part. The other portion of it is the investigations. Yep. Okay, this is about the investigations that would have come into place with one asking for help. And then there being this aspect of one being recognized and being juggled within being independent. And there being, hold on, one's independence is not a fucking juggle to a relationship. Let's go ahead and say that right the fuck now. I just call no. In the vision, a person being single is in 3D. I'm gonna need y'all to do better. Y'all don't like standing on shit. Y'all motherfuckers is delusional as fuck. Anyway, and one being stuck and exhausted. Some of this that this is getting, yeah, and sure being motherfucking tired. That's that part. The other part of it in regards to this, there being this aspect of Saturn, Neptune, the moon, and is that Mars and Mars. In short, the whole competitive nature, what would have been communicated, and one being, and how it is that one would compete and not knowing. And sure, yeah, something wouldn't be how it isn't a competition, and what it is to be, yeah, to recognize there being this aspect of being the 10th coin. Ask for help with one being within one being happy, and the understanding that comes into place with the stability and practicality of what it is that would have been projected as happiness and the wish fulfillment. Yeah, it's when you ensure, okay, because this was coming up a lot. If you wishing for a person to be your lover, understand, yeah, pay attention to who else will be wishing for that person too. Part one, part two. A lot of people can make a wish, but what type of hard work, in my Princess Tiana's daddy's voice, what type of hard work have you applied to making that come into fruition? It's gonna take a little, yeah, it's gonna take some hard work. in order for you to get to it. I get, yeah, not I guess, that's what that is. The other parts, right, especially when you're talking about whether it be for business, whether it be for finance, whether, yeah, whatever it is. So it's that part. The other portion in this whole recognition, because I was looking at this recognition, and what'll be clearing out in the recognition of things is the weaknesses. Weaknesses, not being a Leo. The weaknesses that come into place with relieving a burden. Yeah, on the alchemical aspect, it's gonna be about bringing, yeah, what the new burdens are. New burdens, new betrayals, new endings, new endings, and new beginnings. All right, face value. Okay, one not being cleared out, and the spiritual connection, and then there being reconciliation with one making an offer of love, and the manipulation that comes with being a lover and loving inspection. A lover's investigation. Some of this is gonna be about Gemini. Lord, I know y'all didn't. Y'all do too much. Gemini. Some of this is gonna be about Gemini, Virgo, and then the whole Virgo and Gemini. The yeah, but this is given. When one got to go into battle. Have mercy, and how one would have manipulated the love. Yeah, on one hand, yeah, because in this particular lover's card, it talks about seahorses, and with seahorses, they typically, the male gets pregnant, right? Yeah, because it's one of those. Well, oh no, because this is going back to a download I had from a really long time ago. Well, I don't want him to get pregnant, but I don't want him to get pregnant. And if you've ever had any negative associations with it, I will not. For instance, when I was younger and I didn't know no better, right, about speaking things into existence and all this other stuff, right? I did used to say, if I was a dude, I'm gonna run around and get a whole bunch of chicks pregnant. I did used to say that. I did used to say that, but I didn't act on it, like, by no means. But in the masculine era, yeah, the player piece, yeah, that it'll be about the player and how it is that it would affect you as an individual as you would continue along your journey, and understanding, again, this is linking back to some family situations. So in some of these situations, it's going to be about some people who would have passed away under that lifestyle. Yeah, that would have been, this is something that would be known. It's just giving you a further and more in-depth look. Okay, that would have been a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And how those people who are passed away, they wouldn't be able to reciprocate. So there's that portion. The other portion of, and you do it on their behalf, yeah, you would do it on their behalf. But in regards to this, the manipulation, the man would have been manipulative in order to get himself pregnant so that one wouldn't be able to move fast. It's given that whole runner chaser dynamic that was implied. Yeah, because the runner realistically was the person who had a lot of relationships back to back to back with different and varying people. Now, where people started intentionally fucking stuff up is they started mixing love with business, and then that's how, as we continue on, we understood that there are love spells being done for businesses, right? So to pull in finances, I'm not gonna go there, but ultimately that was what was going on, because that's what they had, that's what they worked with. So it's that part. The other portion of it is uh within learning about those variant aspects. That's when we come to this understanding of spiritual interactions and who is an actual spirit tribe versus who isn't. Your actual spirit tribe won't have a problem with showing up to, with, and around you. Is pretty much what I'm getting from this. That's that portion. The other portion of it is, yeah, as you clear out and your vibration changes, yeah, you'll start getting the clarity it is you need. You just gotta look for the answers. Is ultimately where this is coming from with that whole surrender to sacred unions. Because if it's a generational curse for y'all family to surrender a sacred union, that's something you need to pay attention to. So that's that part. And then last but not least, yeah, but then this whole King of Swords on Friday. That's, yeah. In short, the thoughts of Friday or the thoughts of Venus. You want to know something funny? Does Venus ever really give a shit about what anybody thinks about it? Let's really because as a manifestation in regards to the whole love aspect, yeah, it's one of those you don't even have a good in-depth understanding of what love is and what it looks like in its love language cycle based on its love language category. So you, so if you're not really there yet, Venus ain't gonna. I don't think Venus is really gonna give a shit. I don't. But you got to remember, in this whole surrendering the sacred union, right? In short, yeah, it is. Part of it is going to be about the mindset that is associated with what a sacred union is and how. Okay, that's good. That's good. Anything else? All right. Scorpio. Pluto and Scorpio. I should have known. I should have known. Yeah, pay attention to your Pluto signs. Also, pay attention to your Neptune signs. I just did a Neptune reading. That should help you. I haven't done a moon reading, but also pay attention to your sixth house, ninth house, second house, fifth house, and 10th house. All right, so the karma is coming through your 10th house, which makes a lot of sense because within that whole surrendering the sacred union aspect, if this was something that was dealing with work, yeah, business is business, work is work. Now, that can be one of the problems if a person pay is a professional pay to player. It can be an issue. You know why? Because if you do what you do and you good at it, and that's the only way that a person can show emotion. Of course you're gonna have problems. Of course, I said this a long time ago. If you good at what you do, you're gonna have issues, and people just need to understand that work is work. Yeah, it's one of those how something will be done just to get a person through to the next portion. Or yeah, that's interesting. But resurrect. All right, yeah, it's Pluto and Scorpio and your career. This is gonna speak to the mindsets, and how you handle it is gonna be in regards to uh what information it is that you have readily available to you. It's going to cause for some introspection, but the spiritual aspect of resurrect the extraordinary power of prayer and your destiny. Okay, yeah, it's giving that whole part of it will be about like intercessory prayers. Some of it is also going to be, yeah, and the other part of it is going to be about what it is. Yeah, to oh, that's you. Pray. Okay, pray for others. To pray for others. The other part of it is gonna be in regards to, yeah, understanding, huh, parcel tongue, when you could speak in multiple tongues, not even necessarily just the whole parcel tongue, right? Yeah, it's giving House of Slytherin reaching out to each other. Yeah, not everybody in House of Slytherin was Draco Malfoy, for crying out loud. The fuck? Yeah, and Professor Snape and all that good shit. But the mental aspect of get to the heart of the highest and lowest aspects of where you're going. So within the thoughts on all of these different situations, you really got to pay attention to what goes on with as a person's mind is clearing out. Yeah, what they may be thinking may not be what they would have thought. Past tense may not be what they would be thinking in that very moment. Yeah, I told y'all the mind is so very fucking jumbled. The human mind is so jumbled. And when you're clearing out and certain things are picked up on, yeah, you don't want to recreate what you would have already overcome. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And then the physical, right? Do or die you must. Control the situation and your career. Yeah, whenever I see this card, I think of, do you want to ride in the backseat of a caddy? Top it up with do or die. Do you want to ride? Okay. But yeah, but also pay attention to what it is you need to do to control your career. Yeah, it's different between the home life, and this is why, yeah, in the love language category, you gotta put that particular love cycle together, so to speak, or it would have its own etiquette that's associated with it. The one love language category that always is different, right? For yeah, some of them are the same, others are different. That's why there's etiquettes and shit like that. But within that whole aspect of what you have to do for your career, you got to pay attention to what it is you would have let go of in that career field, and what it is for you to be in control of it. When you, yeah, in short, it's given like if you riding a horse, it's what it's given. If you riding a horse and then that motherfucker starts shooting off and you just start flailing all about, and then then you finally get the reins on it again and you get your burns. That's what that's giving. All right. So hopefully it helps you guys out just a little bit, gave you a tad bit of an inclination as to a few different things it is that would be going on. If you like to schedule your own personal touch of clarity, you are more than welcome to do so at Lightwork and Lightwork LLC at gmail.com. All right. All right. Because see, remember, light work, it ain't like work. It is not light work. It is not light work. All right. And that's why you have to stay like while you work.